go ahead, it's up to you.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you all for attending the Shenango County IDA Board regular meeting of April 21st. We'll roll call ourselves in.
Raymond here.
Corey here.
Blanchard here.
Zeno here.
Burton here. Great. Hopefully you all had a chance to review the annual meeting minutes and the regular meeting minutes. Need a motion to approve those.
Raymond will move.
Need a second.
Corey will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Raymond, aye.
Corey, aye.
Blanchard, aye.
Zeno, I.
Burton, aye. Great. On to the financial report of March 31st, 2021. Carrie, have at it.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say. It's been pretty quiet the last couple of months. Just a couple things I'll know, and then if you have any questions. Under the Bonchen and King legal fees, most of that is regarding the work done on the pilot, the pocket solar pilot, and that will be reimbursed to us as per that agreement. Any legal fees that we incur, the pilot actually pays us back. So that's what that is. We got a final bill for our audit, and so you'll see that under Sarah and Company. That's that $6,800 for the audit. And again, they presented last month, but just want to again say I'm very pleased with them. They were very thorough. They did a wonderful job. I think it was good. It was good that we changed auditors just to have a new perspective, fresh eyes. And they were really wonderful to work with. They were very pleased with Joanna. I just want to thank her again for her work on that. It was a lot of work. If anyone who's gone through an audit and when you have a brand new auditor, so I just want to thank Joanna for her hard work and let you know that it was a good experience for both of us. So. And then I don't have any comments about the rest of the report. Like I said, it's been pretty quiet other than the standard bills and things that we go through. There's been nothing surprising. So unless you have a question, I don't have any further comments.
Okay, need a motion to approve the financials of March 31st.
Blanchard will move.
Need a second.
Raymond seconds.
Great. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Raymond, aye.
Corey, aye.
Blanchard, aye.
Zeno, I.
Burton, aye. Excellent. Bills and invoices. Looks like normal stuff on there, including the audit. So need a motion to approve the bills and invoices for payment.
Corey moves that.
Need a second.
Raymond seconds.
Any discussion? Great. Hearing none, we'll vote.
Raymond, aye.
Corey, aye.
Blanchard, aye.
Zeno, I.
Burton, aye. Great.
Ryan, I.
Oh, Martha's on now, Brian.
Oh, okay. Thanks for joining, Martha. Appreciate it. All right. Now we need to do the resolution that whereas the April 21st, 2021 CCIDA meeting is being held virtually due to COVID-19 concerns, that the Shenango County IDA Board give Executive Director Carrie Green authority to sign these checks without board member signatures on the vouchers. Can I get a first?
Corey, sorry. Corey
Go ahead.
will so move that to authorize the paying of the bills.
Thank you. Second.
Raymond seconds.
Great. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Raymond, aye.
Corey, aye.
Blanchard, aye.
Zeno, I.
Ryan, I.
Burton, aye. Great. Motion carries. All right. On to old business. IDA Academy up first.
Okay, so just wanted to thank those who attended the IDA Academy back on April 13th. I was on, Joanna attended, Pete was there, I think Martha and Taylor.
Yeah, I was there.
Yep, yep. So it was a good, I felt like it went really well. I think it was a good investment of our time, and I think it was good for our newer board members to kind of get an overview of some of the things that we do. They also got their fiscal training taken care of by participating in that day. And Pete, you've been on for a while, so I don't know, Pete, if you found it helpful or not, but thank you.
Yeah, the interesting thing that I was unaware of is the new prevailing wage law. And you might explain that to the rest of the board members, but I hadn't seen or heard about that before this meeting.
Yeah, so this is something that we advocated actually against last year when we were at NFIB in Albany. And it was something that had not actually happened until this year. It only, and I don't have the details and numbers in front of me, but it's an actual prevailing wage that comes into play when you have a project that's over a certain amount of money, a certain threshold. We have not had a project like that yet. So it hasn't affected us yet, but it is something, if we're going to take on a large project, we're going to have to keep in mind, because prevailing wage will severely impact the budget. It's a bigger concern for communities that do larger projects. We, IDA ourselves, have not done a big project, so I don't see it as being a problem for us. But if you want, I'd be happy to send some information out to the rest of you about prevailing wage and what the details are about it.
Yeah, I think the threshold was $5 million and 30% benefit.
Yep. And it really impacts. I mean, the other piece of that is that, on the other side of that is that committee now that's being put together for the solar projects over a certain threshold. That again is a little bit complicated, and I can get you some more information. We could talk about it more at our next month's meeting. Again, it hasn't affected us. We haven't had a large scale project yet, but the way that we're getting projects and inquiries about it could possibly affect us, which really would take the decision of doing these pilot programs out of our hands to this board. Basically what it is a board that's appointed by the governor that will take over projects that are of energy over a certain amount. I want to say it's 15 or 20 megawatt. I don't remember exactly the details, but I'll send you information on both of those things. But definitely things to be on the lookout for, things that we're aware of and we keep in mind. But yeah, we did our best. We advocated hard against that. Thought we won because it didn't happen last year, but it got slipped in this year. So yeah, but I'll send you information about both of those items.
Carrie, this is Supervisor Corey. In the past, did the IDA have to pay prevailing wage just like municipalities and villages have to for their projects?
So prevailing wage, I think, has been around. It was the threshold level that changed. It is decreased quite a bit to the 5 million that Supervisor or Pete was saying. So yeah, that's always been an issue, but not. They lowered the threshold so much that now it's going to impact many more projects across the state. And really, I mean, that percent, the amount that you pay for prevailing wage is severely going to impact projects.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll send more information out about that though. Thank you.
I'd like to see that.
So, but anyway, that was all. Just thank you for those who attended, and there's more opportunities like that throughout the year. We'll be sure to send it out if you're ever able to attend one of the sessions like that. I think they're useful. So.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I would like to do that. I thought it was very informative, and for a new board member, I really appreciated it.
Thanks, Martha. All right, do you want me to just keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just keeping this on here as a reminder for all of us that we are planning to do an open house down at the airport building. We just haven't, with everything with the audit and everything that was happening in March and the projects that we were working on closing, we just weren't able to put it together yet. But it is still on our docket. We would like to do it in the spring. And especially with things reopening and the restrictions kind of, getting a little bit easier and the number of people you can have together. I think we're looking at doing this in May. We had hoped to do it in April, but the weather will be better in May, and I think we'll have a better turnout. I talked with, briefly, but I'll talk to him about it again with Shane about maybe doing something together with our building in the airport to do sort of an open house for the area and promote both. So we'll put our heads together about that and come back to you with a date for that when we have one.
Great, thank you.
Nothing new on the solar projects. Again, this is just there so we can just give you an update and tell you that there's no update. We're at this point, we're waiting on the Tiffany Energy project. Our lawyers are just finishing out the dotting I's and crossing T's of the project. So I don't have any update for you other than we're waiting on a closing date, which should be soon. They wanted to close by the end of March. That has not happened. So I think it's just at this point, they're just finalizing everything legally.
So there's two separate projects up there then, right? There's the project that's up behind Al Linden Taylor, A&J Recco, and then Tiffany will be just to the right of that if you're facing the hill, correct? And that nobody came to us for the one behind A&J Recco?
No. No.
Okay.
I mean, municipalities have the authority to do their own pilot project up to 15 years. If they want more than 15, they have to come to the county. I mean, they're welcome to come to us either way, but some municipalities have decided to just take these on themselves, and that must be what happened with the other one. That's why the one in Green, we're not sure if they're coming to us yet because they're working with the town of Green, I believe. And so I had a conversation with the company about it, let them know that we were here, where the pilot information was. But if they don't need or want more than 15 years, they really could do it locally. We just come into play when they want a bigger benefit.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions about solar? Okay. Again, Cascoon, I'm not sure what's happening with Cascoon. So as you know, last month I shared with you that they called and said that they are looking to dissolve their agreement with us with the property that they're renting in Bainbridge. Joanna was working with them to get the information that we needed for the audit, and it took a little time to get the information that we needed. When she finally got somebody on the phone, they made a comment that they were waiting to hear from us. So I, again, reached out, I called, I emailed, said, let's talk about it. We need to know what you're sort of looking to do and what your timeline is so that we can then come back to you with a proposal to dissolve this in a way that's fair to both them and us. And there's been no movement, no response. I was under the impression they wanted to do fairly quickly on this, and part of it is there's supposed to be a 90-day written notice, which I've yet to receive. So we're sort of in a holding pattern until they get back to me with their intention and with an offer, really, so that we can negotiate. So.
Carrie, this is Supervisor Corey, just with a question on Cascoon. Is that, I'm a little foggy on it. Is that the deli butcher shop retail front on the main street where they're?
It's I believe it's the old Hansman's building. It's on Scott Street.
Okay.
They plan to do a chicken, they process chicken. So I want meat processing facility is what they have planned to do with it. Yeah, 5 to 7 Scott Street. So, at that point, we'll need to decide, what we're going to do. We had talked to somebody who might have been interested in the building, but it didn't fit their needs. So we'll continue to see what we can do with this property that we will eventually own again. We technically own it now, but we're just leasing it to them. So, but the building needs some repair. I mean, it's not in great shape. I have not been down to it yet. Again, wanted to get things on paper with the owners before we just showed up, but we would like to go take a look at it and see what we're dealing with. I've seen photos. There's parts of the building that are in the back end is sort of falling in. I don't know what the condition of it now, since the other companies had control of it. They have their things inside, so I don't want to just show up. So I want to arrange that with the tour so that we know what we're dealing with.
So this building isn't a retail front. This is a manufacturing type facility with loading docks and large open spaces inside. How big is the building?
Shane, do you know more about it? I don't really know anything about the building.
I don't know much about it. You can see it from Route 7 on the main strip in Bainbridge. But like Carrie said, it's an old Hansen building. It's a large warehouse style building. There are, I believe, some loading docks, but they were just going to retrofit it into a chicken processing facility. So, but I don't know the size. It's quite big. I'm not sure.
So was there any work done in the inside in order to retrofit this into, or to fit this as a meat
My
packing?
understanding is they haven't done anything with it since they took it over. They told me that they have some things stored inside, but they were never able to move forward, COVID hit and internally they've had some changes in ownership. So it's just something that they just don't have the capacity to move forward with as they had hoped. I know that Bainbridge will be interested to know that this is not going to happen. I've been asked about it a few times from their chamber about what was happening with the project because nothing seemed to happen. So, you know, we haven't contacted anyone yet to say that this building is going to be available because we don't have the timeline yet. We don't know what it's going to look like. So there may be some interest. I think the building itself has some historical value to the community. So it'd be interesting to see who might be interested.
Okay. Thank you.
No, sorry, I don't have more information. I'll try to get more before we meet again. Okay. Do you want me to keep going, Brian?
Yep, right on to new business, Carrie.
Okay, so we were contacted by DOT. And I'm gonna need Shane to help me out with this because I'm not good with the road. So we, we own the railroad. We own the property. I think it's 8 feet on either side of the railroad as it goes up and down the track, the 40-something miles of the track in Shenango County. DOT is putting in a brand new bridge just outside of Greene, almost to the end of Greene, right before you hit Shenango County or Broome County. What's the road, Shane? Oak Ridge?
Yeah, it's right near Oak Hill Drive. It's the bridge that goes over the river in Shenango Bridge right near the dollar store. It's an old metal deck bridge.
Yeah.
They're basically going to redo it and go across at the Salisbury States, the little campground down there, or Shenango Campground, whatever it's called.
Yes, thank you. So Shane went with me to go meet with them. They wanted to do a walk of the area and show us what they were planning to do. So they are looking for a permanent easement to be able to basically make that what right now is kind of a driveway into this old campground, into this campground. They're making it into a 2-lane road. So because they have to go over the tracks and they need use of it, they're going to have to do updates, and keep it up, maintenance on it over time. They're looking for a permanent easement. They're not just taking possession of it. So because of the permanent easement, they will pay us what they consider fair market value for that permanent easement. I don't know, it's like 1/4 of an acre or something like that. So they met us, they brought their assessor, they showed us what they were planning to do, they showed us where they're putting the bridge in, and they said that we would hear from them soon. I was contacted by them yesterday. I do not actually have a quote for the appraisal yet, so I can't share that with you yet. Shane and I talked about it. We don't think it's going to be very much because of the amount of land that they're going to be using, and they're not taking possession. It ends up being like a 90-10 split. So we would still technically own it, but they would have this permanent easement for life use to be able to go over the tracks. Unknown to us, apparently they've been talking with the railroad about this since last July. I didn't find that out until Shane and I met, and they've worked out a deal with the railroad to do the track improvements that need to happen to make this into a road. So this has been in the works for a while. We just didn't know about it until a couple months ago. About a month ago, actually. Any questions on that?
Carrie, is there any long-term ramifications or issues with granting a permanent easement?
I don't think so.
In terms of the property that touches the railroad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only issue that would come up is if for some reason we ever didn't own the railroad, whoever was to assume that would take it over, whoever maintains the track would need to know about this. Right now it's NYS&W is who we have the lease with to maintain the track. I mean, I think the other part of this is they could just take it. I mean, they could just say it's,
Eminent domain.
Yeah, they could just take it and not give us anything.
Yeah, and there's a crossing there now, right?
There is.
Yeah, so there must be some sort of easement already for the property owner.
There might be. I'm sure if we went back into, I'm guessing the railroad's been there long before this campground was. But I don't know that. I don't know if we would find that through a title search. I guess that's a good point. I don't know how long ago that easement would have been granted.
If for no other reason, it'd be an easement by use at this point.
Right. Okay. I'll see what I can find about that. That might be some digging to go see. I don't know. I mean, I would hope that at some point, but maybe not. Maybe it's been there so long it predates any kind of easement or agreement. I'm sure there must be an agreement somewhere, because there is that crossing. They, see what we can find. So until I get an appraisal from them and a quote, I won't know what they're offering us for the easement, but we have the ability to appeal if for some reason we choose to, but from my understanding, we pretty much get what we get. So we'll see.
From the sounds of what Pete's saying, they don't even have to do that, honestly. So I guess anything is better than nothing.
Right. And they'll do all the maintenance. They worked it out with the track. It's just pretty, they're, I think it's more interesting that they're abandoning that other bridge to, like, they've decided it's, not worth, I guess, fixing up that old bridge, and they're just putting in this brand new one. It was kind of cool to stand there and be like, all right, there's gonna be this bridge here, that doesn't exist right now. So, all right, that's it on that. And then I just want to make a note of something. So Commerce Shenango is going to be entering into an agreement with a local consultant, Action Collaboration. We are moving forward with a strategic plan. I'm mentioning it to the IDA because at some point we are going to, it's a strategic plan for all of Commerce Shenango. And you know that is a little complicated because underneath Commerce Shenango, we have the chamber, we have DCC, which is our LDC. We have this committee, we have a foundation. We feel like it's really important to make sure that all of these boards have input into the strategic plan. And we're going to, what we do affects the entire county. We're economic development, we're the chamber, we're business, we're advocacy. We do a lot here. So I'm bringing it up to you to let you know that at some point we will be having some sort of a meeting with the IDA. We would like to bring the board and the county into this because we feel like to have the strategic plan be really effective, we really need to have input from all of the players. And so as a board under Commerce Shenango, IDA will be involved in that. We're not at this point asking for any financial help. The entire cost for the strategic plan is going to be about $14,000. We have some money set aside to do this. I'm saying that for right now. At some point, we might, come back to the board and say, hey, could you possibly donate something toward the cause, toward the plan? We only just met with the board, the executive committee last week, and they signed off on this. We're presenting the entire project to the full board at our board meeting next week. Brian, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to attend that meeting or not, but you'll see the full plan roll out from the person that we've hired to do this. So really just to let you know that we are moving forward with this. We are going to be tapping into the IDA board and to our county partners because we feel like, to have the best strategic plan possible for Commerce Shenango and the entire economy of Shenango County, we really need to include everybody. So hopefully you will choose to participate in that.
Carrie, this is Mike again, Mike Corey. Do we have a strategic plan in place now? Is there a plan that's being amended, or are we starting from scratch on a strategic plan?
Yeah, no, we do not have a plan. The last strategic plan that was done was 2014 to 2017. And I wouldn't really call it a plan. It was more like goals. It was kind of like, here's some goals, here's some things that we want to accomplish. And I don't think it encompassed all of the groups like we're talking about now. I did find there was an attempt to do a plan in 2017, but it never was finalized or vetted through channels. It was something that we actually discovered internally a few months ago, that we did not actually have a strategic plan. And I felt like, with all the things that we've been doing, the changes that we've made to our overall organization, it was really important to have something to back us up. So when we go for funding, when we try to do projects, when we're trying to go out to the community and ask for support for things, when we come to the county and talk to you about some of the initiatives that we're doing, we have nothing to really back it up. So I felt like it was really important to do this. And the fact that we don't even have one, I was like, well, we need to do one. And I think to do it effectively and correctly, I think having a third party do it for us is the right way to go. We're all very busy here, and I don't want to do it halfway. If we're going to do it, I'm like, we should do it the right way and hire out for somebody to help lead us through the process.
Okay.
So good. Well, hopefully you'll all be involved. So we're looking forward to your input. And that is all I have. Unless you have any questions.
Okay. Anybody got any questions for Carrie at this point?
It's Mike Corey again. Carrie, you were talking about touring the building up at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe our committee, the Planning and Economic Development Committee will be up at the airport. And on the calendar in front of me, I think is Shane, would that be the 10th?
May 10th, we'll be up there.
Right, so we were going to be up there after our Board of Supervisor meeting. And since they're touring the airport, maybe touring that would also be part of our event there to really see all the assets that are there.
Yeah, let me,
Something to consider, we could talk about it, but I just wanted
that
to
would
let
be
you.
fine. I'll block out the afternoon. I think if the full board is going to be there.
Oh,
we could
it would just
post
be,
it.
I'm
What?
sorry, I didn't interrupt you, but it's just our committee. So it's probably 5 members and Shane and the airport steering committee would be there too. So
Yeah, no,
it's-
I'm sorry. I meant this board.
Oh,
We would just need to post it because it would technically be a meeting.
I think it's just kind of an information session workshop kind of
Yeah,
thing.
we
Yeah.
certainly can do that. So we can post it as a, information session workshop. We'll be touring the building at Centronics. We'd be happy to do that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah, just a heads up on that. It is basically just an impromptu tour. So,
Okay, thank you. I'll work with Shane to coordinate that. Thank you. Okay.
Excellent. Anything else? Okay, hearing nothing. Carrie, do we have any need to go into executive session?
I do not unless you do.
I do not. Does anybody have a need to go into executive session? Great. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Raymond moves to adjourn.
Okay, second.
Corey seconds.
Great. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Raymond, I.
Corey,
Blanchard, aye.
Zeno, I.
And I.
Bert and I. All right, thank you everybody for attending today. I believe we are going to try to meet in person at our next meeting. Carrie, is that correct?
Yes, we are.
Great. All right. Thank you. Everybody have a great